We're climbing through your window. We're snatching your people up. So hide your kids and hide your wife. We are back for another week of podcasting. On the panel this week, returning from suspension because he doesn't know how to follow his contract stipulations, we have Rollins. We have our usual suspects on the bottom. We have Boss and we have JT returning to us again. Let's start off. Let's start it off. We have Warner Brothers' interest in Raw and how this could affect AEW. WWE has reached out to Warner Brothers Discovery over a potential new home for Monday Night Raw. It's done the same thing for SmackDown on the CW. The product has been reshopped out to USA, FX, Disney, Amazon, and Netflix as well. Sources have stated that they've made a pitch for around 400 million, but analysts think the product is about 23 million less. The offer was initially turned down by Warner Brothers Discovery, but it's saying they're attempting to relitigate. My opinion about this is that Tony Khan is a billionaire independent of these products, and sure, AEW has made 227 million less than Raw's annual work this year, but there's more equity and loyalty towards the Khans than oversaturating the pro wrestling space. It's a well-known fact that TNT has tried to acquire the rights to Monday or Thursday Night Football on several occasions, and obviously Tony Khan, being a partial owner of the Jaguars, has some leverage in those conversations. Rollins, what do you think about this, dog?
I think this is interesting because I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach on this, actually. WWE recently went into a partnership with the UFC to form TKO. Where are UFC fights and pay-per-views usually shown? ESPN. I think there's more of a likelihood that WWE ends up moving to ESPN and Disney than to Warner Brothers, whether that's TNT or TBS. I think it makes the most sense because, again, WWE and UFC are now in a partnership. UFC, all their fight nights, all their pay per views are on either ESPN, ABC, or ESPN Plus. It would make sense then for WWE to move their programming to ESPN, ABC, ESPN Plus. You get it.
Yeah, I think this. Well, I want to go on to the how the Warner Brothers thing would affect AEW if if they did the deal with Monday Night Raw and AEW is booted off of TBS and TNT. What then happens to the TBS and TNT titles? Do they get retired? Do they have to be renamed? Or will they just be scrapped altogether? I'm not sure. On your point, Rollins, about the ESPN thing, does that mean WWE pay-per-views would be $80 like the UFC ones? Please no. Because the Peacock deal, that's good for money because all you have to do is pay that $5 or $10 subscription and you get access to all the pay-per-views free of charge. That makes it a heck of a lot easier on me. Jay, you got anything to say? Anything more to say on this?
Yeah, I think above all else, I'm kind of looking at this like wrestlers negotiating contracts with different companies. It's kind of the same thing, there's a lot of buzz around it. There's a lot of speculation about what'll happen. But at the end of the day, I really think it's just a red herring. If you're looking at the numbers, AEW has been on a steady increase in profit over their last 4 years. This year, they're projected to end 2023 with about, what was it, 175 million dollars. And I think that Warner Brothers is going to want to capitalize on that. And I think I agree with Rollins that I believe that WWE is going to move over to ESPN. But I think it's just going to be very smart of Warner Brothers to capitalize on this huge profit margin that AEW can bring in.
That poses a few more questions, boys. I'd like to keep this conversation going. I'd like to comment on Boss's statement. Now, it's probable that if they're going to partner with ESPN, that their programming is going to get exclusive features on ESPN Plus, right? Treated like UFC. Maybe you'll get everything except for the main events for free, and then pay a smaller premium for the remainder of the PLEs, I would imagine that at some point they'd want to get back to pay-per-views just because the company has lost so much money. They corner hold themselves on that platform, and they've been very open about that. And then secondarily, on the prospect of them leaving TNT and TBS, I mean, this is a company. These, Warner Brothers Discovery, specifically TNT and TBS, has always hosted the alternative to WWE program. Wouldn't you consider that these things could exist in the same space together? I wouldn't imagine that they'd pick up WWE and then want to lose their Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday programming for professional wrestling, being that makes up about 48% of viewership on their channel. And if and Brent just made a comment on the YouTube stream, they lost Peacock for the PLEs, but they're still contracted with Peacock through WrestleMania 40. If I'm correct, am I correct on that, Rollins?
I don't know for sure.
Well, we could dig into that because I believe this is going to be something that we're going to discuss a couple times. Now, here's the second thing. If Disney does pick up WWE, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Hulu, these are all places that these live streams could live. How do you think this would affect viewership on those platforms?
I think it would greatly increase viewership, especially on the likes of Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. Because you already, for ESPN, I keep coming back to this, you already have the UFC on there, where the UFC brings in a ton of fans for their pay-per-views and whatnot, especially when you have stars like a Conor McGregor, even though I think he's washed up, Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, John Jones, Amanda Nunes. You get my point. If you're able to bring in WWE, that means you're bringing in Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Judgment Day.
Well, I wouldn't jump to Drew McIntyre as of yet, but
Okay, but you get my overall point. Like,
yeah.
You're just adding more star power to ESPN. So it would only strengthen ESPN and Disney, because on Disney Plus you could have like funny, like WWE spin-offs, if you will. They've done, like, I think there was a WWE Scooby-Doo crossover years ago, and
They brought Pee Wee on one time.
yes, bro.
Shane, if I may, you mentioned something a minute ago about the possibility of, if this Monday Night Raw deal went through with Warner Brothers Discovery, of both wrestling companies being aired on the same network. Am I getting that correctly?
Yeah.
So then here's a hypothetical. What's the likelihood that the Forbidden Door is opened?
Not going to happen. So
It's not gonna happen.
So we've seen that, and I'm going to be that guy, and then we'll jump into the next subject, which is practically the same thing. But WWE has had it written into CM Punk's contract that WWE doesn't discuss their competition unless dictated by upper management, right? He is not allowed to say AEW on WWE television. He's not allowed to talk about his work with AEW unless unless Triple H says, "Hey, dude, you're allowed to." Like, that's a thing. I would love to see the Forbidden Door blown off, but WWE, WWF has never been known for its inclusion. Like, it's not a company that's open to anything outside of its own perspectives. They did New Japan in the 90s and the late 80s. They toyed around with WCW, but that was after they bought the product, right? So, you guys have anything else on this one?
I did on the Disney part, on the Disney Plus part, with that Rollins said. It's like, so what I think is that they should move, if they're gonna do the pay-per-view thing, move the pay-per-views to ESPN Plus, move Raw and SmackDown and NXT to Disney Plus. Move the shows.
Why would you split them though? Why not just
Disney,
keep them all on ESPN?
Disney owns ESPN.
I get that, but why would you have the pay-per-views on ESPN Plus and have Raw, SmackDown, and NXT on Disney Plus?
Because Disney Plus, I guess, could be seen as more of a family-friendly streaming service, and in recent years, the WWE has tried to go more PG. So it could be in this situation where Monday Night Raw and NXT and SmackDown are going to be aired on Disney Plus. I would assume it'd be with the intent to have families on the couch watching it together.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you just want it on regular ESPN then, so that everybody can get it?
Well, I mean, if Disney owns the IP, they could really do whatever they want to it. They could cross the streams I mean, they could put it on every single one of their platforms. I do want to call out a very good point that Wolf made in the chat about, WWE on WBD. No way is WWE booting AEW off the network. The kind of wealth that the cons have opens accessibility to things that WWE can't facilitate. Monday Night Football, we had spoken about this very briefly last week. WWE is going to stay on USA. That's a very popular belief system. And, honestly, they've gone safe with that. We could transition from this into the next segment, which is WWE and ESPN, which we've kind of already talked about. Now, we've heard this rumor a dozen times over the past couple decades, guys. This is not the first time that ESPN and WWE has been in the same conversation. The only outlier here is that Disney now owns the product. We had limited WWE programming on ESPN after the Attitude Era. I don't know if you guys remember the break room commercials. I do. That they used to, see boss over there raising his hands.
I've seen a couple of them.
Yeah, they're classics, right? Stone Cold guy walks in, hit me with the chair a couple times. I need a boost of motivation. There was a bunch of them. It was awesome, but this is the Disney angle in shopping. Being Disney owns ESPN, and I could really care less where it ends up, dude. It's not going to change the program, which Jay just said. So, I mean, if it goes on Disney, guarantees we're never going to see blood again. We're never going to see anybody, women, males, be objectified. They're going to take all the edginess out that was left in the product out of it. I would imagine they do allow rated R movies on Disney Plus now, but there was a lot of controversy behind that. Some of the classic Disney programming has been modified to hit those streaming sites. Again, I don't have really much to say about it. Just calling out observationals. Rollins, you got anything else you want to drive home on this topic?
I just think it makes too much sense for WWE to go to ESPN because, again, they formed TKO with the UFC. All of the UFC's programming is now on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ABC. It just makes too much sense. Move WWE and all of its programming to ESPN, Disney, whatever. In this case, I don't think it's one and the same. It makes too much sense. And maybe this would cause WWE to stop doing their 12-month premium live event pay-per-view structure so that you can focus more on the build to the bigger events. Like, there's no premium live event happening in the month of December. They're giving time to build to the Royal Rumble. So, like, maybe they could do that.
They also do the same thing for WrestleMania. The month before WrestleMania, there's no premium live event.
Exactly.
Yeah. Jay, you
Yeah.
want to wrap? Yeah.
I think there's one guy that hasn't been mentioned in anything that I've been reading about WWE moving over to ESPN, and that's a Mr. Dana White. Dana White has a ridiculous amount of pull. Problems aside, he's a problematic dude who's willing to do whatever it takes to make a quick buck. He slapped his wife on live TV. Like, if he wants WWE to come over to ESPN, the pull of him, Triple H, and apparently Vincent McMahon, he's going to do what it takes to make money. And with this partnership, I really think it's more likely to happen now than it has been in previous years.
Yeah, I mean, economically, I gotta side with Wolf on this one. I think it'd make more sense for WWE to migrate all of their programming over to USA and then maybe get in bed with, like, just Hulu or just Netflix or just Amazon. That way they could kind of have their own corner of the market. They could control the entire thing. That way they're controlling all of their equity. Disney makes more sense because, if they're making them enough money, they're never going to let them go under. And WWE is still a gigantic program in spite of them finally having some competition. I don't have anything else to say on this. You guys have anything else to add to this conversation?
One quick thing. Seaboss, if Colby Covington, the man who's challenging for the welterweight title, were to come to WWE, who would you want to see him feud with first?
The welterweight that never was, CM Punk.
Yeah, I'd love to see CM Punk get beaten in 14 seconds in another thing.
I
right.
would say
MMA rules match.
I would say if Colby Covington were to jump to WWE, put him in a feud with Logan Paul for the United States Championship. That would be fun.
Yeah,
But then you
nothing.
would have heel versus heel, and the crowd would be like, who the fuck do I root for?
We
Just
get
group both
babyface
of
v
them.
babyface.
Eh,
You know,
Colby Covington could not be a babyface.
I'm just saying a heel v heel match is fun. I like it.
Yeah, no, heel versus heel matches are always great. Remember, what was it?
Oh.
I'm trying to remember what the heel versus heel match
Dude's
was.
got
I
the
really
Windows
liked.
loading screen going right now.
I
He's at
He's
66%.
he's buffering.
Oh, dear God.
Do you guys
Um,
remember when was it heel Booker T faced was it
should we
Did he-
start playing the
did he
Jeopardy
face
song?
Kurt?
well, no, we're
Did
gonna
he
start
ever
playing.
face Kurt Angle as a heel versus heel, Booker versus Angle?
Uh,
Or was Booker a baby face when he faced Angle? When he feuded with Angle?
bro,
Booker was his own thing, man.
yeah, man. Can you dig it? Well, I mean, I can't even see. Boss has me loading right now too. Jesus. All right, we're moving.
There was,
Okay.
there was a heel
Okay.
versus heel feud.
All right,
I
all
There's
right.
a
remember
million
it.
of them. So we're gonna move on to the next one, guys. But on to AEW. We've got some big old matches coming to Dynamite tomorrow. We got big old matches on Collision. We got Copeland Christian, Briscoe and Swerve, Mox versus Roosh, White versus Lethal. For the C2, we got MJF and Joe versus the Masked Thugs. We got Sky Blue and Tony Storm for the women's world. We have a bunch of stuff planned for this Wednesday, and we already got Kenny Omega and Ethan Page booked for Saturday. Booked for Saturday. That they're taping Collision this evening. Please don't spoil it for me anywhere on the forum. But honestly, I'll let you guys go. I'm really excited for Copeland and Christian and MJF and Joe. Hopefully to see some exposition into the story. Rollins, what are you excited to see tomorrow?
Well, I gotta say Ethan Page and Kenny Omega right off the bat. That now that Ethan Page has seemed to find his groove after spending some time in Ring of Honor, give him a strong performance. If you want to have him beat Kenny Omega, I am perfectly all right with that. Light a fire under his ass. Because Ethan Page, when he's been given the freedom to, just go out there and be himself, he has shown that he can cut a great promo. He has shown that he can put on a fantastic match. If you build him up enough, he might even be able to hold the AEW World Championship.
Yeah.
The match I'm most excited. What were the 3 C2 matches you said?
We got Briscoe, Swerve, Mox, Roosh, and White versus Lethal.
Mox Roosh is the one I'm the most excited for.
Okay.
I think both of them could walk away with the win here. I don't see a situation where I do see a situation where either of them could lose, but I also see a situation where either of them could win. It could go either way. I don't necessarily see, like, a lot of people are going to say, oh, Mox is going to take the win easily. No, he's not. Roosh is a great wrestler. He proved it last week when he beat Mark Briscoe. He proved it in at Full Gear in the tag match while he was teaming with Drolistico. Roosh is a great wrestler. He should go over here, but also Mox could go over here because they're going to tell that story that it's going to end up Mox and Swerve being the top dogs of the Gold League. I'm also excited for Christian and Adam Copeland. That's going to be a good match. That's going to be a great match. There's going to be a lot of story there. And I'm seeing it a lot more now than I was when the match was made. I'm seeing a lot more situation where Adam Copeland could win and be the new TNT champion. Jay, you got anything to add?
I think I would have to agree with you on the John Moxley and Roosh, but I could see them going with Roosh just like out of left field. I think the other Gold League matches are going to be there. It's obvious who's going to win, right? I I'm really excited. This is going to be, if I'm correct, this is Sky Blue's first shot at the AEW Women's World Championship.
Yes, her previous title shot was at the TBS title.
Oh my gosh, this is a huge moment for her. She's very young. They're taking the Julia Hart approach with her, which I really really like. I think it's bound to be a good match. I am most excited for the Christian and Adam Copeland match. Genuinely can see it go either way, but this is the first time that these two have wrestled against each other one-on-one in 13 years. This is going to be absolutely ballistic, and I can see them going until they have a winner.
That's why I'm surprised that it's happening on a regular episode of Dynamite and they're not saving it for the World's End pay-per-view, because whether you have the title change hands or not, my question is, what are they going to do at the pay-per-view since they're doing this match on Dynamite? That's why I'm like, you should have continued to build up the story and save it for World's End.
Hey,
That this is a cause for speculation because it seems like a lot of what they're doing right now is going to lead into the Devil reveal at the pay-per-view and the finals for the C2. They're going to wrap the C2 program around a couple times now in terms of just Dynamite. Mox versus Roosh, they could put Roosh over. Mox has alluded to being so tired. Mox has been the official savior of AEW for a year and a half, and he has not been able to take a vacation or a break that's been any more than 10 days. He'll fall off of programming and have to return to bail someone else out. And I think we're alluding to Mox being ready to take a seat for a month with his family, which he needs that, dude. I mean, the dude has really put the work in, and Roosh is a fantastic talent. In terms of Sky Blue and Tony Storm, Jay, you've never heard me say this before. Rollins and Boss, you've heard me say this a dozen times. I would love to see a Dynamite middle of the week unexpected programming where every single title defense results in a title change. Yeah, I know. It mixes up the programming, and
Dude.
everyone makes the same argument. Well, it doesn't give any relevance to the
Oh,
belt.
that would be
Well,
wunderbar.
yeah, who wants to see those belts ping pong? You're making them look like a participation trophy. No, you're you're creating more storylines. I mean, and that's what the C2 does as well, right?
mhm.
Which
We'll get into that.
we'll get into that. It's coming soon. And honestly, the Sky Blue Tony Storm thing could turn Tony Storm on her head really quick, and she falls deeper into psychosis, and they could have the rematch at World's End as well. I mean, that there is still exposition being built into this pay-per-view. I don't feel like they're just like slapping things together. I think these are all long-term plans for long-term storytelling, and they're working what they have with what they have. Like the Cleveland Browns, they have a lot of injuries right now of top people that are out. You got a lot of people that are upset that are currently sitting on their hands. It's just it is what it is. So, what do you guys think about Dynamite? I mean, the card looks absolutely fantastic.
One of
I'm
the
gonna
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
probably one of the best cards I've seen for Dynamite in a while. Tony Khan has been like booking on Maximum Overdrive these past few weeks. The C2s, I will say this, I was skeptical about the C2 at first, but the matches we had booked last week, both for the Gold and Blue leagues, and the matches we seem to be having this week for Gold and Blue, I'm sold on this thing. This tournament is looking fantastic, and I want more. I want to see more like this.
Jay, I'm surprised you didn't say anything about this because of your name on here. Tomorrow on Dynamite, we have Jay White against Jay Lethal.
Man, I didn't want to say it because the jokes are just going to write themselves. Jaywalking jokes since childhood, Jay White jokes, and Jay Lethal jokes in wrestling. Oh my gosh, that will be a fun match. Jay Lethal's going to get his ass kicked though. I don't like Jay. Like,
It's
I
clear
like
who's
Jay
getting fed to
Lethal.
who.
I hate the people that he surrounds himself with,
Oh,
I
here we go.
especially hate
particularly
Jeff
Sanjay
Jarrett.
Dutt.
Go
Jeff
ahead.
Jarrett for me is the worst of them.
You're a
Ugh.
clown. I hate that you hate Jeff Jarrett. Now Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy.
on.
Yeah.
Why would you
So
hate slap nuts,
old
Rollins?
slap nuts. So this is kind of like a tangent, but Cage Match released the statistics for the worst rated matches of the year, and Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett from the Texas Chainsaw Match was number one.
Wow.
that match was so boring,
Yeah.
and that belt was so weird.
Hold on. Brett says you guys are wearing matching hoodies. We were
Oh
both.
no,
Yeah,
I
we
didn't know
were.
you were going to be wearing that.
No, we didn't plan on it. I just we
Oh
said it earlier.
man,
It is a very comfortable hoodie.
it is a really good
Um,
hoodie.
So there's a story behind this one's, but Rollins Copeland said something about that today. Having the match in Montreal was very important to them. Wolf makes a good point. These guys are in Canada on their home territory. These guys are two Canadian wrestlers. They're best friends. They've been doing this for a long time. We're in kayfabe hatred right now, but I think, there's a bigger story to be told here. I personally think the angle here is going to be Adam Copeland. I almost called him Edge. Adam Copeland drops Christian. I should call it Christian J, Uncle J. That's his actual name. Look at that.
Yeah.
It comes full circle. It's the evening of J's. Um,
Do you
but
think we get one more F bomb on TBS or no?
That was hilarious.
That was
Like,
so good.
Dude, they
poor,
paid for that.
poor TK had to eat that fine.
He paid for it. He paid it forward. He's like,
I'm
"Hey,
sure he
look,
told him to do it.
we're doing
I'm sure he
this."
gave him the okay.
Yeah. So
Uh,
I think that this storyline is being built into eventually pairing these two. I think Edge gets it and it gets dropped off of him immediately, and then they go for the tag titles together. Oh, I didn't get to keep it. You didn't get to keep it. Let's be friends again and do the damn thing. So, but
now, do you
So
turn
does that
Adam
mean-
Copeland heel or do you turn Christian Cage face?
I was just gonna ask that
Yeah.
same thing, C-Boss.
yeah, well, Copeland's already doing some heel shit. I mean, they just
Yeah, he
beat
did
the
low
shit
blow.
out of.
He did low blow. Christian Cage last week. He tried to hit him with the title.
Nice
Nice
try,
dumbass.
He gave
That-
a concerto to Nick Wayne in front of his poor mother.
Oh,
To be fair,
no!
to be fair,
Your
Nick
husband is
Wayne,
dead.
Nick Wayne was kind of being a dick to his own mother, so Adam Copeland was just like, "I got you, bae."
Yeah,
Okay,
get-
can we wait, let's focus on that. Since Nick Wayne has turned heel, has he really done anything?
No, he's got his ass
He got renamed to Nick Cage.
No, the Prodigy.
kicked. He's the
Oh yeah,
prodigy.
the Prodigy.
Prodigy.
I think he
Mid.
who's that one dude with the wings?
Dalton
what-
Castle.
Dalton Castle. He
love
wrestled.
Dalton
He got over on Dalton Castle, and that was it.
Sad.
And then
Who hasn't
Yeah.
gone over on Dalton? Who hasn't Dalton Castle put over at this point? He put me over, and I don't even wrestle.
Bro, the dude, don't shame Dalton Castle. He's a multi-time
Hey.
Ring of Honor world champion.
I
The
love
dude
him.
is job fodder right now for AEW programming because
It's
Tony Khan
sad.
doesn't have placement for him. And speaking about placement, we could transition into our next segment. AEW has some trouble in paradise. Unless there's anything you guys wanted to say about what we were talking about. Nope. Jay?
What the heck is going on in the
Jay
back?
did a deep breath. I was just covering my bases.
no,
AEW
you're good.
Yeah, AEW troubled in paradise. AEW reportedly had some serious issues with negativity in the company reporting as of late. They let go of Ken Sullivan, a VP of post-production who had a direct hand in CM Punk's return. Reports that some of the locker room is pissed about storytelling and direction and the time they're spending on TV. We've seen a couple people speak out publicly, the Hardys and Britt Baker. A lot of talent isn't on TV right now. My opinion is this was going to happen. TK has 5 hours of television a week, and he oversaturated his locker room. Facts. He just started picking up people in spite of other promotions. That is what it is, man. The shoe fits. And he has the world's best talent. How are you going to make time for all of these guys to be top guys when you already had an established roster of top guys before you did all these hirings? I mean, to be fair, they are focusing on the younger talent right now, and the people bitching have already done their time and don't have a lot of time left. like the Hardys. And Britt Baker kind of made the bed she's laying in right now. There's a lot of controversy behind her right now. They've been, not a lot of people had a lot of positive things to say about her last year leading into her sitting. That's my opinion. It's a shitty one. Rollins, you have thoughts on this, sir?
Okay, first of all, when you presented this topic, I thought you were saying something about Kofi Kingston because he likes to use that finisher, Trouble in Paradise.
Okay.
But now I understand actually what you're saying. But either way, I just feel like AEW's roster, they should just do a straight up brand split. I get that Collision and Dynamite are meant to be like one supposed to feed into the others. But the problem I find with Collision is like the matches are just too random and there's no story to most of the matches. I'm like, did Tony Khan just pull two names out of a hat? So if you have Collision be its own show with its own storylines, its own set of champions, you could get more of the roster on TV. You could, and maybe that would be the satisfaction the roster is looking for. And get rid of Rampage. It serves no purpose. It doesn't do anything. Rampage is stupid.
What?
Rampage?
Rampage?
What?
Rampage?
It's been fire lately. What are you talking about?
Rampage was the
Dude.
best. Everyone dogged last Friday's card, and it was some of the best matches of the week.
It was
Don't
so
sleep
good.
on-
Dude, I was watching Rampage last Friday, and I kid you not, I was sports entertained.
Yeah.
The epitome of sports entertainers.
Yeah, it was good to
No,
see Danny
Rampage-
Magic on commentary on Collision
not-
for that Daniel Garcia match. That was funny.
Yeah, Andre made a very important point in the chat. Now, not enough time for everyone. You have a lot of people competing for the main time slots in AEW media right now, and other people are getting favor. That's what I was alluding to. And getting rid of Rampage, Rollins. I'm not going to gang up on you. We're not going to do that. That's silly goose hours, my friend. Look to the stream VR duck right there. That's a silly goose, and you're being a silly goose right now. Why wouldn't you want as much wrestling media on television as possible? This is 90% of the media that we intake. It's why we do this here. I get it. Rampage is kind of being treated like dark right now. They're not going to relegate it back to YouTube TV. They have a good program that people are actually tuning into, and it's an opportunity to not just build matches, but also stories. You're not getting the same story content that you're getting on Collision or Dynamite, but it's still, and some of the matches are bangers, dude. Last Friday was like banger after banger after banger.
Hi, Sheamus.
Looked like such a fan. That card looked like someone auto-generated on Universe mode, but it turned into actually good wrestling content. Something that Roman Reigns will never understand.
The problem with Rampage is
shots fired.
The problem with Rampage though is I can just look up the match results on Twitter and get the spoilers, so I don't have to watch it because they tape it after Dynamite. Don't do that.
Then don't spoil yourself. You're doing it to yourself.
Kayfabe.
Yeah.
Hey,
Rollins, keep
pull
kayfabe
Andre's
alive,
last comment.
brother. Keep kayfabe alive, brother.
Yeah, I want everyone to read this. I'd be okay with at least a trial period for 3-hour Dynamites. I'm never bored during Dynamite, and I could always do one more hour. I feel like hell to the fucking yes, man.
Yeah.
At the end of every single Dynamite, I'm like, oh.
Dynamite just feels too short.
The third hour of Dynamite would be 10 times better than the third hour of Raw usually is.
Well, yeah, because on Dynamite, guess what? You actually get wrestling on Monday Night Raw. It's backstage promo in the ring. Oh, let's go backstage and
Yay! Another 6-man tag match, including the Judgment Day versus Cody Rhodes and 2 partners of his choosing that are probably going to be Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, or Sami Zayn.
I wouldn't be surprised if that match ends up happening at your Raw this coming Monday.
It already happened the last time we went to Raw. It was the Judgment Day
I don't want to
versus...
remember that. I don't want to remember that day at all. Can we just please move on? Thank you.
Okay.
Rollins got all serious on us for a second. And again, the dissonance in the locker room. I want to add on to the Kevin Sullivan thing. He was a stout, fan of CM Punk. He helped develop the programming and took care of the promotional stuff leading into Punk's return to AEW. It's cause for speculation that maybe that played into him being terminated. Maybe he stopped doing his job. Maybe he was upset. Maybe they agreed to part on equal terms. But AEW has been they're having some very bad vibes in the back office. I would hope that this is just growing into a promotion. We've been around for 5 years. We've seen this in WCW. You guys think this is something they could work through?
I really do. Tony Khan is gonna give them their matches. It may take time. They're gonna get their time in the sun. QT Marshall's out the door, right? But
He
Britt
wasn't
Baker,
really doing anything.
he wasn't doing
anyway.
anything in the first place. I do feel really bad for the Hardys. But when you get the worst rated match in the year, it's going to be kind of difficult to put you in an interesting booking. It's business. And they have to get times to feel themselves out. AEW is still working on reinventing themselves. And we have to take that into considerations. Wrestlers' frustrations for not getting their time in the limelight is completely valid, but I also think it's valid that Tony Khan needs time to book.
Mhm.
And most of his booking is done through long-term storytelling. And on the topic of booking, we're going to move into our next category. There is a wide belief in several wrestling communities that the C2, the Continental Classic, is breaking up your regularly scheduled programming and storytelling. Now, I've had this conversation in other forums about other tournaments or about other events or crossovers like Forbidden Door. And I'm going to be as blunt as I possibly can. This category for this evening's discussion is fucking stupid. I love you.
I agree.
I
It
love you.
is.
I love you all. I do. But I know I listen. I respect all of your opinions equally. I know there is a belief that this is breaking up the programming, and to some degree, it is. Yeah, Wolf. Yeah, I don't need everyone to agree with me on this. The community. I'm not going to say they're wrong. C2 is excellent, but a tournament like this, it's a fresh take on a tourney. Those same ones that we're used to seeing, and it's more reminiscent of G1. It
Yeah, I love
repaves
the G1 climax.
yeah, it repaves the direction for everything they're doing with story and puts the focus on the best talent in AEW currently. We're seeing Swerve have a big comeuppance. He looks fantastic. He's in other forms of media right now. He's crossing over. He was just at the Jags game yesterday. He just did a movie. I don't know if you guys know this, but he has a direct-to-TV horror movie on Amazon that he did and didn't even take time off of programming, and he's a feature in the film. That Jay White is finally looking like an actual professional wrestler. For anyone, all the naysayers that said he looks like shit when he's in between the ropes, these are things that we're using to develop these characters now. Where I will say that it did break up storytelling, there was no lead up into, hey, we have a new thing that we're doing, and it kind of dunked in the middle of some bigger things that were going on, right? So, there is an argument for, pumping the brakes in favor of exploring new avenues, but it's not like Tony Khan hasn't always wrapped around to these stories in the long run that ends up happening. All this tourney has given us is an opportunity for banger matches, new stories, and good professional wrestling. Rollins, are you dipping out on us for a second? Yeah, he paused his mic. Go ahead, C-Boss. We can pick back up.
So after Full Gear, there weren't like the Dynamite after, there weren't really any seeds sown for any non-title storylines. So everything, all 12 of the wrestlers in the C2 could do this tournament without breaking up any storylines they were already involved in, because Full Gear finished up pretty much all those storylines. No need to do anything more with Hangman and Swerve. No need to do anything. Moxley and Claudio are not really involved in any storylines and Danielson, because the only member of the BCC who's currently in a storyline is Wheeler Yuta. He's involved in that whole thing with Hook and the Best Friends. There's nothing for Brody King. There's nothing for Jay Lethal, Jay White, Swerve, all just finished up storylines. Nothing for them to do. And who else is in the C2? Daniel Garcia and Andrade are already sort of involved in that whole CJ Perry thing, and they're both in the tournament in the same league, and they just had a banger of a match. So I don't think the C2 is taking away from any storylines. It might actually create some storylines after it's done. Who knows? I'm just gonna let this ride out and see where it takes us. Jay, you wanna? I know you're chomping at the bit at this.
No, you're
So am
good.
I.
No, you're good. I think you hit it right on the nail. AEW has its roots in letting their, letting their wrestlers tell the story. So why not go back to that a little bit? Why not let some of these stories come into place themselves? You know what I mean? Like Eddie Kingston, the biggest part of this tournament for me at least is that Eddie Kingston is not only wrestling for the belt but also putting his two belts on the line, which is going to make the first Triple Crown champion in AEW a really big deal, especially going into World's End. But then you're getting exactly like you're like Shane said, Jay White is wrestling phenomenally now, and he's being booked amazing. I love this tournament. I'm sorry, I could keep going on and on.
All right, so I'll jump in here. I'm loving this tournament, but for me, and C-Boss, you know this because I've said it to you. When we're talking about the non-title feuds versus the title feuds, I prefer the non-title feuds because it always feels like those storylines get more personal. They get way more in depth. You get more like high stakes matches, if you will, because like you get Texas Death matches, you get steel cage matches, things like that. And I feel like since we have this tournament, we're not getting those non-title matches. So my issue is, as much as I'm loving this tournament, because yeah, it's elevating Swerve Strickland at post what he did with Hangman. Don't get me wrong. It's giving Andrade, the opportunity to really establish himself and several other guys. But it's like, what are we going to do at World's End? You can't just have a pay-per-view, be all championship matches. That's just, for me personally, that's just not interesting. So that's where I think the C2 is just a little bit of a miss for me, is I'm not getting those non-title feuds to that'll get me interested and be like, oh, I want to see this match at World's End. Why were we so interested in the Hangman Swerve Strickland feud? First at Wrestle Dream and then at Full Gear. It's because they spent time building up that storyline. We had Swerve invading Hangman's house, and then Hangman came back and cut that amazing promo on Swerve, which I hope Hangman stays with that character. But, I feel like we're not getting those interesting non-title feuds to build up to the pay-per-view.
Are you ready?
Oh,
C2 is one gigantic title match.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'm sorry, dude.
Much.
Not to mention, you're still getting story here, man. First of all, Brody King is actually at the top of this competition right now. Technically, it's Brody King, Swerve, and Mox. Everyone pretty much has. What's up?
Yeah, they all have 6 points. So
Yeah, these guys are all pretty much the top of their game right now. Brody King looks imposing. He's decimated everyone that stepped between the ropes with him. We're going to see some upsets tomorrow, but what type of upsets are we going to see? At some point during this contest, we're going to have to see draws. We're going to have to see, people that have 6 points lose. I don't see Swerve Strickland honestly at this point. I see that Swerve is probably going to be the person to take this. Wolf says one thing I can nitpick about the C2 is that I'd like to see it marketed better instead of the Woo energy drink. Deco your banners and aprons with C2 energy like they do with the G1. And when G1 rolls around that time of the year, the New Japan Classic, that's in all of their branding and it's most of their media. It's like they're cutting corners on this. Wolf, I actually agree with you. And you know what? Rollins made that point kind of softcore a little bit earlier. You know, it doesn't really put a focal point on the product. If this is something they're going to do next year and have a belt to be carried around, they need to make it a little bigger than what it is right now. The Woo energy drink thing right now is a point of contention in media, but I want that story to kind of percolate a little bit. Ric Flair, there is going to be a time where that he's going to be a bigger topic, and there are some things going on behind the scenes. But now, what Rollins, I do want to fantasy book here a little bit. It's clear that Swerve Strickland is headed towards some echelon of championship. If he is to sweep the C2, he's the first, singles multi-belt champion since Kenny Omega. The story here would be, well, I just beat Hangman. Hangman's a world champion, and you were the first belt collector here. I'll put my titles on the line to show you that I'm the best belt collector here. And then he's headed for the world championship. Doesn't that sound awesome?
Yes. Uh, I think my point got a little lost. I'm just saying, I love the C2, but I want to see non-title programs alongside it, so that you can fill out World's End. Because I don't think you can. For me personally, a pay-per-view is not that interesting with only championship matches. It needs some non-title matches that have story behind them.
Well, I want to bounce this one off you and then see Boss and Jay. Seems to be a popular topic of a conversation in the forums that we populate. It seems like they kind of rush things into pay-per-views. Are you alluding to the idea that seems to be the case for World's End at where we stand right now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, we gave not to keep bringing up Swerve, but we gave Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Page time. I know it wasn't the greatest feud, but we gave Ricky Starks versus Chris Jericho time to build. I'm trying to think of, like,
Jungle Boy Christian Cage.
There you go. We gave that story. By the way, it's Jack Perry. Damn it!
Justice for Jungle Boy.
Justice for Jungle Boy.
Fire Jungle Boy.
Either way, though, we gave that story time, whereas, like, it doesn't feel like we've got, other than Samoa Joe versus MJF, because we're clearly giving that story time, tying into the Devil. It doesn't feel like we're getting, stories that are going to have a lot of time to build up. It's just like, hey, here's a match. Hey, here's a match. And you're like, well, why is that match happening at the pay-per-view? Why is that match happening at the pay-per-view?
I want to argue this point is that there is a non-title feud kind of brewing in the backlines, and you are the one who brought this up to me because I didn't know about this before Collision. FTR in the House of Black.
I told you they were feuding. Remember when you said, why was I coming after you? This is exactly why, C-Boss. I remember on the live stream last week, I was watching. You didn't believe FTR could. You said FTR would be part of the Devil's Crew because they're not actually in a feud with the House of Black. You said basically that. You are 100% wrong. They are in a feud. It is Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood against Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews. I think this match, they should build up this storyline and do it at World's End. You could justify it. Like, whoever wins this match, gets the next shot at whoever wins the tag team titles between Big Bill and Ricky Starks against the Golden Jets. Although, I guess the Don Callis family is still in the mix. Whatever. But FTR is clearly in a feud with the House of Black. You cannot tell me otherwise.
Jay,
I did see it on Saturday that they were in this feud with the House of Black. I could tinfoil hat this so badly and be like, oh, this feud with the House of Black is taking suspicion off of them so that when they are eventually unmasked as part of the Devil's crew, it comes as a genuine shock.
Jay, bring us home before I before I wreck these fools.
My only rebuttal to that argument that it can't be FTR behind those masks is that Darby Allin was in 2 piping hot feuds uh, over the summer with Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. On top of that, a couple months before, he was in an incredible 4-way match for the grandest prize of them all. There's nothing wrong with being in multiple feuds just as long as it's booked and managed properly. They proved that they could do it with Darby Allin, and I'm confident that they can do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely
Tinfoil
forgot.
hat.
That's not a tinfoil hat feud. By the way, while we're talking the devil really quick, and then we can move on to the next thing, I have to disagree with Boss down there. The Devil's goons are the pinnacle, and and the devil is Adam Cole, baby.
But
So
who's
That's gonna
part of the
be a big
Pinnacle?
work then.
FTR.
yeah, it'd be FTR. It would be
Wardlow.
huh? It'd be
Wardlow.
FTR,
Or
Wardlow, and Sean Spears.
Spears.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's what I was saying is that if it is indeed the Pinnacle, then this feud with the House of Black could be used to kind of take suspicion off of them, so that when it is unmasked as the Pinnacle, everyone's like, "Wait, FTR was involved with this? What?"
hey, pin Andre's MJF MJF comment, please. Andre W. MJF is in a feud with half the roster. Yeah, there's
He
no-
is.
Fair
He
enough.
is.
Fair enough.
All right. Yeah, good point in case.
He's even in a feud with he's even in a meta feud with Orange Cassidy, but nobody
Yeah.
knows about that yet.
Yeah, dude, Brent was actually the person that speculated that Sean Spears was one of the guys under the mask. He kind of got the juices flowing for me, but I just want,
I took it and ran with it because I think I was the first person in the server to say it was the Pinnacle, because
Yeah.
we started mentioning the Wardlow stuff, and then I was like, wait, Wardlow, Sean Spears, the Pinnacle, FTR could be in this, and everything just blew off for me.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was Sean Spears who was holding the chair to MJF last week.
the chairman.
I would say,
Yeah,
yeah, the chairman, exactly. It could make interesting. It could make an interesting match, because Sean Spears kind of got the short end of the stick out of everybody in the Pinnacle. Let's be honest. I mean, Wardlow has been booked properly. Either, but
Let's
this would be
try
a good
forget
time to
about
finally.
that UFC match. Oh,
Oh
God.
my gosh.
Oh.
But this could be an amazing opportunity to give Sean Spears the credit he deserves because he's a remarkable wrestler.
Agreed. Yeah, and he's currently an indie champion. He's been working his off time. He's been given permission. He's one of a dozen talents in AEW that's working his off time in the indies. So, okay, we are gonna segue over to a new promotion. We're gonna talk New Japan. I know Boss is ready to have this conversation. So, the devil could be Neville, Pac. Yeah, it could be Pac, man. Pac, we all thought that Pac was erasing the Elite. Remember during their Death Triangle feud last year, and they never revealed who that was. Maybe that'll tie into this, but um, moving on to New Japan, Okada is a free agent in 2024 post Wrestle Kingdom. And I had been alluding to this 2 weeks ago, guys. Here now, I actually get to have this conversation. Following his wrap up in Japan, WWE has been scouting him for months. Rumor has it that Shinsuke Nakamura's current push in WWE was a product of WWE proving to foreign markets that Asian stars could be champions on their programming without even pulling the trigger on putting a belt on him. Are they going to make Shinsuke Nakamura a top guy? And where is Okada headed after he's done with Japan? Will he resign or is he going to another promotion? Pick up the ball.
I think it is always fun when situations like this happen because wrestlers really should follow their hearts and go where they want to go and feel where they should be, most utilized. Adam Copeland ran out of stuff to do in WWE, and so he made the jump to AEW. I really don't see how much farther Okada could go solely in New Japan if he went to AEW, he could bounce back and forth. Like Kota Ibushi. But if he goes to WWE, that's a completely new market, and the possibilities for him are limitless.
Guys, the bidding war of 2024 wasn't on MJF. The whole time, MJF was alluding to the bidding war of 2024 being for Kazuchika Okada. Long-term storytelling. So, Okada enters free agency. WWE wants him. AEW wants him. Where does he go from here? I think he goes to AEW because clearly they're setting up a long-term feud between him and Bryan Danielson. And if he goes to WWE, they won't be able to finish that feud.
Yeah,
By the way, they're gonna need an ambulance at ringside for that match at Kingdom 18 because every time Danielson and Okada face each other, another part of Danielson falls apart.
Is Danielson going to steal it back?
Is he gonna injure Okada?
He's
gonna injure himself injuring Okada, please.
So I want to point something out. Everyone thought that Shinsuke Nakamura, because of his presence in the Indies and Ring of Honor, wasn't going to sign with WWE. We thought that Shin was going to stay in other promotions. So what is it really about, gentlemen? Is it about the legacy or is it about the money? Okada is injured. He's he's pushed his body to the limit. He was talking about early retirement this time last year. He carries himself through all of these matches, decimating his body. He is one of the 2 top guys in Japan right now. Who is going to give him the spotlight, that is equivalent to what he has in New Japan? Now, I have to agree with Andre in the chat. I have zero faith in WWE using Okada as a big star. Nakamura as a glorified mid-carder in the WWE. That's a fact. Shinsuke Nakamura used to be the leader of Chaos. He's the champion and master of strong style. That was an imposing force before that was transplanted into WWE storytelling, but he's also making $3 million a year. He wasn't making that in New Japan, and they're overpaying him now to keep him away from leaving. The Brent, me too. Nakamura is barely a storyline, especially if Okada isn't a fluent English talker. We have women from Stardom that don't speak fluently that are currently carrying world championships in WWE. It really depends on how they want to drive the story or how much money is involved. Now, Okada has been a loyalist to New Japan for a long time, and because of his working agreement with AEW, I truly believe that AEW would be the direction that he headed in. And it would give a stronger bond between the 2 promotions. It's not like the Khans don't have the money to pay him. Rollins, do you have a thought on this?
It makes the most sense for him to go to AEW because he could still go back to New Japan and do work there. I don't really have anything else on that.
C-Boss, other than Danielson, who would you want to see him wrestle?
Oh,
pick one per promotion.
For AEW, I'd like to see him wrestle. I'd like to see him wrestle Kenny again. Okay. I'd love to see him wrestle Kenny again. And for WWE, someone like the Rainmaker versus Seth Rollins. That either Seth Rollins or Sami Zayn. Those 2 matches would probably get a bigger pop, the biggest pop out of me in the Fed.
It's the battle of the most uninspiring finishing moves. Jay, go ahead.
Okay. AEW is kind of an easy one for me. I really want to see Hangman v Okada. I think that'd be an amazing match, and that everybody could get behind. This is going to be an asterisk, and this is going to be a friggin' curveball. Drew McIntyre.
Ooh.
Drew McIntyre. All right.
That's why you put the asterisk on it. That's why you put the asterisk on it.
I don't know. Could Okada take a Claymore?
I don't know. Can not Danielson, what am I talking about? Can McIntyre keep up with Okada?
Fair enough, but I'm just saying, one Claymore and Okada might not make it.
It'll be a fun match, that's for sure.
What if Okada got hit by an RKO?
Ooh, from out of nowhere.
Yes. Like Brock Lesnar did. You'll never hit an RKO on Brock Lesnar. Randy just comes in, bang.
Randy hit an RKO off of a curb stomp, so I think he can do whatever he wants with that.
He also hit Mae Young with a. Was it Mae Young or Mae Young, or was it the Fabulous Moolah? Did he hit with the RKO?
I thought it was Mae Young.
It's one of those 2. Oh, it's
He
Mae
also
Young.
hit
Okay,
Nia Jax with the RKO.
she deserved it for showing up in the men's Royal Rumble, waiting for that RKO on Rhea.
Was her showing up in the men's Royal Rumble a receipt, or did they actually have them play?
Everyone hit finish on her. She took a 619, an RKO, a brogue kick, I believe. What else? What else did she take in that? She took 5 finishers from all 5 of the wrestlers in the ring. And I
So
do
what
not
I'm hearing
remember
is
the last
John
two.
Cena's not the GOAT.
No, it was always Randy Orton. It was always Randy Orton.
I want to ask Rollins to do his best Paul Heyman impression. Brock Lesnar.
My name is
Is
Paul
Yeah, God.
Heyman, and I am the advocate for your undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Yes, he used
Hey,
my nickname for him.
Here, are we gonna actually see a Roman Reigns match this year? That's the
I
real.
know you're a big, big, big man, but I know you'll go flying over that top rope, Paul Heyman.
All right, boys.
I'm not in the Royal Rumble match.
We're gonna move on to our final segment of the evening. It's the count out, boys and girls. It's the portion of this of our program where we get to talk about whatever the hell we want to. And I'll start this one off. We'll wheel it down to Jay. Drew McIntyre goes into business for himself on WWE programming last night. I'm not gonna even repeat what he said. His social media presence for the past month has basically been like fuck WWE, and he basically said fuck WWE for hiring CM Punk last night. This is bullshit. Why am I not on the fucking Royal Rumble poster? God, do you guys actually see him writing out his contract into February and re-signing with WWE? Absolutely fucking not. I don't
No.
think so.
No.
I think he's Brooks and Dunn. I think he's feeling a particular way about the Fed, and I think he knows anywhere else he's going to go, he's going to be a top guy. What he wants to do is do the big matches, and they're just not giving them to him. We got Andre saying it's work, bro. It's a work shoot, but I really feel like they're only rolling into this because he's been out there on his personal social media just blasting WWE, like without saying WWE. It's a fact. And who do you think he was talking about last night? He wasn't allowed to say names. It's been stated that that wasn't written into his promo last night. He was supposed to be talking about Jey Uso. So that was what he was supposed to come out and say, and he said something completely different. You guys have any thoughts on this?
It rhymes with Bill Brooks.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to say something. I was browsing my social media the other day, and I came across that WWE on Fox, their Instagram page, reposted the Royal Rumble poster tweet of Drew McIntyre say like with what he said. It was like, you see, this is what I'm talking about, or whatever he said. The WWE's own social media, their TV social media reposted that. How could or if he really is going to business for himself and saying fuck the Fed, then why would WWE on Fox repost it?
Yeah,
I genuinely want to know.
Yeah, I mean, a good point to make is Drew was working the Indies, TNA, and Impact. Drew is good friends with a bunch of guys in WWE. Keith Lee and Drew Galloway are tight. I think there's some legitimacy to Drew's grievances. I mean, Drew McIntyre was complaining about his contract litigations about 8 months ago, and he said, "I'm not signing anything. I deserve title shots. I deserve more money." In 2019 and 20, no, 2020 and 19 and 20, yes, Drew McIntyre had the most wins in a WWE ring back to back. He's held the championship a bunch of times. He's been in some of the best programming since the inception of his character. I mean, I really think that they are doing this guy a disservice, considering some of his matches back in Impact were were 5 stars. The dude could wrestle. Wouldn't you be frustrated if you were the world's best chef and you were sitting on a salad station? Like that's the whole point. The dude deserves to be a champion.
He
So
should have won in a Clash at the Castle. And apparently, something I read was that the original plan was to have him win at Clash at the Castle because they had Triple H wanted the WWE Championship off of Roman. He was going to have Drew win, keep the WWE Championship, and vacate the Universal title. But I guess he was watching Solo Sikoa work in NXT, and he said, this guy needs to come to the main roster, and I have the perfect way to do that. And so they basically pulled a screw job on Drew to get Solo Sikoa on the main roster.
I mean, Solo Sikoa has done really well since coming up to the main roster. Like, he absolutely destroyed John Cena at what's it called? Crown Jewel.
Don't remind me of that terrible, awful PLE. It was the
Anyway.
worst PLE this year.
Oh, wow. But in terms of my count out, we are just about, I believe it's 17 days. No, I'm trying to think. I don't remember exactly how many days away we are, but UFC 296 is coming up quick. In the main event, the welterweight championship is on the line. Leon Rocky Edwards defends his belt against Colby Chaos Covington. I cannot wait for this fight. We are going to be doing a whole UFC 296 preview show the week of that pay-per-view, so stay tuned for that. We're not sure exactly when that will be happening, but it will be coming. But the way these two go about it in the octagon, I don't see this going to a decision. One of them is getting finished. I don't know how, but with the way they just go after their opponent in the octagon, it's going to be an absolute barn burner right now. I would give the slight edge to Colby just because I think, ooh, you disagree.
Who wins over Usman proved that he could hang with someone better than Colby. I know MMA math doesn't make any sense that people I beat this person who beat you, but you beat me. It's like rock, paper, scissors all over again. But I want my count out. I'm going to talk about something that Shane and I talked about yesterday. I want to talk about Sami Zayn. I want to talk about how he deserves all the opportunities in the world, and he's not getting them. And what I want to know is why. He's proved that he's a fantastic wrestler. If you watch any of his work in NXT, heck, his work this year against Roman Reigns at the Elimination Chamber proved that he is worthy of the main event. Heck, he had was it like 2-3 weeks ago? I think it was before Survivor Series. He had a match for the World Heavyweight Championship with Seth Rollins, and correct me if I'm wrong, that match was a total banger. He has proved that he is worthy of the main event scene, that he is worthy of a world title. Why isn't the WWE pulling the trigger on him yet?
Okay.
Are you sick over there? It sounded like you were spewing some bullshit out of your mouth.
Nah, man. I'm allergic to bullshit, and Roman Reigns spews a lot of it.
I'm gonna say this, and this is Rollins. This is the hottest take I've ever said, and I've said this on this podcast before. Roman Reigns is not a wrestler. He is a sports entertainer with 5 moves:
the spear, the Superman punch,
the guillotine, just a normal arm lock,
the walls of Jericho.
No, he can't put people on the walls of Jericho.
I know.
He's got a clothesline in there. He's got a clothesline in there too.
He's got a clothesline.
He does.
But 4 out of those 5 moves are not dependent on him. They're dependent on his opponent selling them. The only one that he actually has to be careful with because it could kill someone is the guillotine.
Yeah.
Yeah, one wrong move, you could snap your opponent's neck. I have trained in jujitsu. I know how to do a guillotine. I'm not skilled enough to do it without hurting someone. That's
Oh
why.
yeah,
That's why
Wolf pointed
my
out the drive-by.
The drive-by. There we go.
the drive-by. What is it? It isn't it just like a shotgun drop kick and on the apron?
Yeah.
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 But Roman Reigns is not a professional wrestler. He most of his moveset depends on his opponent selling. His opponent, if you watch any of his matches this year, last year, the past few years, all of his opponents are doing most of the work.
The lethal weapon. The lethal weapon is in the movie. C-Boss as a lethal weapon, or is the move the lethal weapon?
I have
Yeah.
never heard anyone say anything of any offense of Roman's is lethal.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I actually want to. Jay, do you have? I want to comment on that. You got something first?
I got just one thing for my count out. It was just something I want to throw out there. Matt Cardona announced that he's going to be going for the GCW World Championship.
Let's go,
I,
Matt!
I was watching I was going to GalaxyCon last week down in Columbus. Fantastic convention. WWE Hall of Famer Pete Rose made an appearance. But while I was packing, I was watching some GCW on Fight Plus, and Matt Cardona comes out and cuts this insane promo on the promotion and says, "I'm going for this belt. It's going to be the #1 prize in my entire collection," or something like that. I'm just excited for Zachary. He deserves it. He's been tearing up the indies for years now.
Yeah,
He
Zachary.
is the indie god.
Yeah, Zachary doesn't exist anymore. He killed Zachary. You cannot
He did
speak.
kill Zachary.
Yeah,
You
Zack
can't.
He did kill
Zachary's
Zachary.
dead, broski.
Zack
Matt-
Ryder is dead. Long live indie god Matt Cardona.
We're gonna bounce around this conversation because I'm gonna want to bring up Cardona again, but I want to expand on something C-Boss said. Roman Reigns was a professional wrestler before he got sick. For anyone that doesn't know, Roman Reigns had a serious illness in between 2014 and 17 that he treated in quiet. WWE, he was such a star for WWE that they put him on light detail. His name has carried him through, and as his reputation. I do not want to discredit the work that he has done, but he is absolutely worth fuck all right now. I'm sick of him holding the belts, and I'm sick of the Bloodline being on TV. The Bloodline is a joke. He's the only him and The Rock are.
Yeet.
Yeah, him and The Rock. Yeet. You're not allowed to say that anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's copyrighted.
Yeah, it's
God
copyrighted.
damn it.
So you better snatch that shirt up while they still have prints of them. Sami Zayn is one of the most slept on talents in all professional wrestling. Back in my fan hub days, I wrote a giant forum about the 9 professional wrestlers that deserved better time on television, and Sami was at the top. El Generico, his run in ROH and PWG was some of the best independent work of all time. His character work was fantastic. His promo work was fantastic. His run with Colt Cabana was sweet. And he shares a bank account with his mom, and that's all you really need to know about the guy. If you did not know, last year, Sami Zayn said publicly, he wants to finish his career with his friends, and most of those friends live in other programs and other promotions. And he wants to fight Dakota Ibushi again. He wants to fight Kenny Omega again. He wants to go overseas and fight Hiroshi Tanahashi again. He wants to fight Kenta. I mean, these are things that, yeah, that would be fucking sweet. You know, the dude knows he's stagnating as a stooge, but he's intelligent enough to know himself and his character. I think we'll see a time at some point where Sami crosses over. And if not, I hope they pay him every penny that he's worth while he stagnates on the WWE roster. So Cardona. Cardona rules.
Cardona,
Absolutely.
long live the indie god.
Long live the indie
Death
god.
match king.
He's not the deathmatch king.
He calls himself that.
Who is the deathmatch king?
Terry Funk.
Funker, yeah.
Yeah, the Funker's the godfather of the deathmatch. He's not the current king of the deathmatch. And I don't think Nick Gage is the current king of the deathmatch either.
Nick Gage is a torture porn wrapped in a professional wrestler. He does his job, and I love watching Nick Gage matches, but god damn it, he almost killed David Arquette.
Yeah,
He used a freaking pizza cutter on Chris Jericho's face.
No, the current deathmatch god swerves when he drives.
Oh my god.
Nope, I disagree with that statement completely.
That's a hot take.
Dude, I think that the current death match god is not a god. She's a goddess.
Ooh.
Sawyer Wreck. I don't know if you've seen her in death matches, but she is an absolute monster. And I know I could talk indies for days. We're sleeping on like Sawyer Wreck is one of them. Atrocity Cruel. If you haven't seen that dude before, he is absolutely terrifying. As a matter of fact, I'm giving you guys homework for Thursday. Go look up some Atrocity Cruel matches in the indies. They are absolutely brutal. The deathmatch scene is bustling right now. There are whole promotions that are constantly doing nothing but death matches, and they're putting on banger after banger after banger. There's actually Circle Six just broke a world record on most filament tubes used in a death match, and it's something worth seeing. Now Cardona is a deathmatch god, but for clout, he is not the deathmatch god.
He's not the deathmatch god.
No.
There's also, to your point about the deathmatch scene being on fire right now, there's an independent based in Cleveland called Absolute Intense Wrestling.
AIW.
AI dub, baby.
What up?
And they have an entire tournament centered around death matches. The Bill Alfonso Unreal tournament, if I'm correct, right?
Correct.
It is an insanely fun time. It really is.
Are you gonna go? Are you going to Southern Ohio to see El Vikingo and Gringo Loco?
I thought that was coming to Cleveland.
I thought that was. I think it's in Eastlake.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Give me a second.
Yeah, I got you. Well, while he's looking that up, you guys have anything else for the pod today?
I just found out that Wesley,
Yeah.
the former NXT North American champion,
Yeah.
is injured and has to undergo surgery. So instead of him, Dragon Lee will be taking on Dominic Mysterio for the North American title at NXT Deadline. And in his corner, in a massive surprise, because he was just undergoing knee surgery, is Rey Mysterio.
619. The 619 is the most so there's like a list of not convincing finishers, and unfortunately, Rainmaker's on there. The Stomp is on there. Like there's just
Blue
so
Thunder
many.
Bomb.
Yeah, the Blue Thunder Bomb is on there. Hold on, what's another one?
The Falcon Arrow.
The
kangaroo
the
kick.
the mic drop, dude. The Falcon Arrow still looks sweet though when he hits it. Dude, that
That's
still
the
looks sweet.
problem, though.
Yeah.
Seth doesn't hit the Falcon Arrow anymore.
Yeah. So,
I mean, C-Boss, I know you explained why, because it puts a lot of pain on Seth, but still.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why his back is so messed up is because of the Falcon Arrow.
I get it,
he
but
explained that.
I get it, but like in my opinion, if you look at the Stomp or the Falcon Arrow, I would say more people associate the Falcon Arrow with Seth than the Stomp.
I have another WWE finisher for your list, Shade, of the least the Crossroads.
Crossroads.
It is like
the Cody cutter, because what is the Cody cutter? It's a cutter that Cody does.
I've seen and I've seen MJF hit it. None of them have made it convincing whatsoever.
Yeah, we got the Eddie Kingston. We're not doing Eddie hate here. I saw how quick that comment came up.
You're welcome.
Listen,
get him out of the chat.
No, I won't say Eddie Kingston pip slap. I'd actually say the Judas effect.
The Judas. Well, so the spinning back fist.
Asuka made it. Asuka and NXT made it convincing.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I love. Yeah, Andre loves Eddie. I know you love Eddie, but you're not wrong. The tornado chops too. Yeah, make it look convincing. All right, what's that? Is that in Cleveland?
It is going to be at Temple Live in Cleveland. The event is called Terror at the Temple, and it will be hosting the AIW debut of El Hijo del Vikingo.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I was scared this is going to be on December the 29th. That is a Friday. Doors are at 6:30, and then the show starts at 7:30. I think it goes without saying, they didn't ask us to do this. We just love AIW.
Rollins, you want to go to the indie show?
AIW. We're
sorry, I can't. I'll be flying back from Palm Beach.
Yeah.
AIW. I'll definitely go to that show. If we're getting El Hijo del Vikingo, I'm there. I love his work. I was saying it on Friday and on Saturday because he was on both Rampage and Collision. That man is not human. Some of the stuff he can do is insane, and I love it.
He sold his soul.
Hey, speaking of that, Did you guys see what happened on Dynamite in the backstage? The Martins and Action Andretti are being interviewed after their win over
I did see that.
what was
Penta
it?
Commander and
Penta Commander and
Viking.
Vinkingo. That match, if we actually do it, is gonna be insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like there's not gonna be there's gonna be like maybe 5 seconds of gravity, and that's it.
Hey,
Well, gravity isn't wrestling that night. So
Yeah,
Well, we're not
grav-
talking about. I'm not talking about the wrestler gravity. I'm talking about physics.
wait,
They're going to be broken. Take your physics textbook right now. I know you have one. I know one of you has one.
chuck it out the door.
Chuck it out the window.
Chuck it out the fucking window.
wait. Speaking of Gravity the wrestler, I still can't get it out of my head.
Oh, and when Joe did the walk away from him and he was doing the moon steps. No, the better one was I don't know who Joe is facing, but he did the walk away. The guy's just looking at him like, what the heck, man?
Yes.
It made it onto mainstream meme pages.
Yeah, so that is actually the most effective move in professional wrestling. The fuck you, I'm not letting you hit this.
Made famous by Samoa Joe.
But it is not
so
the
good.
most devastating move in all of sports entertainment.
Ah, yes, the surprise roll up.
Yeah, no, it's the Danhausen curse.
Oh
So-
yeah, the Danhausen curse. It has a 100% success rate.
It does.
Oh my god.
I still don't know what's going on with this whole Angelo Parker Ruby Soho stuff. It makes no sense. Why are they trying to break this into a love story? I don't care.
Oh, it's cute. Let it happen.
Yeah,
it's gonna
it's-
break up the Jericho appreciation, or well, I mean, just the appreciation, the
The
Jake
former.
Hager, the Jake Hager Appreciation
Jake Hager's
Society.
Hat Appreciation Society.
I like this hat. Can we get
Although, why did Danhausen have to pull it out of his pants? That was kind of weird.
Oh, you get that? I think that's why Jake Hager was mad. What made it was in your pants?
I
Um,
hope they use the C2 to turn Daniel Garcia back into a wrestler. Get him away from this sports entertainment crap.
I think
But I
Daniel.
like his dancing.
I think Daniel
know how to do
Garcia
it.
is one of the most slept on professional wrestlers in AEW. When he had that classic last year with excuse me, Brian Danielson, and Danielson shook his hand and put him on, and he was going to join Blackpool Combat Club. I thought that was a really cool angle for him. And you know what? Tony Khan does long-term storytelling, and it's still possible for us to see something like that in the future. I can't do that dance though. I can do this one though.
Yeah, we could all
Yeah.
do this swerve when we drive.
Yeah, dude. You guys got anything else for this damn thing?
I'm good, man.
I'm good.
AI
I-
dub forever.
Yeah,
Yep.
the AIW guest list us for that show.
Shout out Kevin Steen.
That'd be
Yeah.
insane.
Yes.
I am Vito.
Yeah, so I want to.
Generico numero uno.
Mel Generico will always be numero uno. I eat
wonder what-
children.
I-
I eat children.
I wonder what he's doing nowadays. God bless that man.
He's sitting on a beach in a luchador mask, sipping tequila and limes, my friend.
Yes.
I heard last he was working in an orphanage.
It's quite training the next
No,
class.
Christian
of-
Cage is doing that actually.
Christian
I'm all
Cage
of
is
your
running
fathers.
the orphanage.
Oh God, I don't want to see that.
All right, guys, let's wheel this one out. I want to thank the panel today. We, for everyone that participated in the chat, thank you so much for showing up. This is all volunteer work, so the fact that you guys dedicate your time to talking shit with us here is great. The All Elite Fan Official is your official one-stop shop for all things related to wrestling and wrestling shit talk.
And
thank you.
also the UFC.
And also the UFC. We want to thank So What's the Catch for putting this program on for us. At some point, we'll have our own dedicated channel, but through So What's the Catch. But it seems to be working right now. Rollins, C-Boss, Jay, is always joining us, and for the fantastic conversation. For those of you that are watching that aren't a part of the conversation, join us on our Discord. Contact any one of us to get a hold of us. All of our screen names are right here on the screen. So with that, I bid you all adieu. Good night.
Sami Zayn deserves a push.
Thank you very much.
Long live the indie god.
Swerve Strickland for AEW World Champion.
Good night, everybody.